Hello everyone, welcome back to Shane's Shed. Got my 2010 Mitsubishi Outlander here. Now, in a previous episode, I was going through, had a bit of a weird noise while starting. I'll see if I can get it again because last time it didn't really show up in the audio very well. But anyway, I've pulled the starter out and determined there's a bit of a crack there, so I'm going to throw a new starter in. And yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So this is the 2.4 litre 4-cylinder. It's a 4BT, I think, from memory. Not to be confused with a Cummins. Okay, so when it comes to doing this starter motor, there's two different ways we can tackle this. So one, we could pull out the intake manifold. That is obviously a pretty big job, but I have seen a couple of ways that you can get the starter out without removing it. Now, what we will need to do is, well, because we need to come in through this end of the intake manifold and get our hand up under, basically under the intake manifold to the starter, where there is a couple of wires hanging off it we need to undo. So in order to get my hand through there, I'm going to have to pull the power steering pump out of the way. So I'm going to give that a tackle first. While we're there, we'll also pull out the intake hose and the cold air intake just to give us a bit of space. And I'll also drop the positive battery cable off because battery cables will often have a live cable run straight to the starter. So we want to drop that off before we create any issues. Let's talk about the tooling you're going to need for this job. Now, we'll start off when we do pull out the power steering pump. You're going to need a 16mm ring spanner to undo the tensioner, just to release some tension on that. The wiring on the starter motor, that's a 12mm socket. You will need some extensions to get there. I end up using a couple of extensions and a wobble joint as well because you're coming in on an angle for that. So that is a little bit fiddly, but yep. You will need a long screwdriver, just a flat blade one. I'll show you what you need that one for a bit later on. Couple of pliers. I just use my little angle joint ones. Phillips head screwdriver, 10mm socket, or you can just use a little 10mm extension, whatever. 10mm ring spanner for the battery terminal. That's about it, really. Actually, I did forget something. The starter bolts, I think they're 12mm as well from memory. Yeah, so all easy there. We've already covered 12mm. That's it. So you can see on the new starter here, we've got our, these are our cables, and there's also a spade connected right there. So that's basically where we need to reach in and kind of work blind inside that intake manifold to undo those. So yeah, that's the challenge. Apart from that, there's only two bolts that hold this starter in. So it's pretty easy. Positive cable off the battery is good enough. Now I'm just going to, because that's kind of wanting to flop back onto the terminal, I'm just going to stick a rag up underneath it. Now, if you wanted to give yourself a little bit extra room, you could also take the battery out. That'll certainly help. But to be honest, it's not 100% necessary. I can unbolt the starter with leaving that in place. So yeah, I wouldn't get too stressed about that. Okay, I've got this side out. So I'm going to see what I can do about pulling that power steering pump out of the way. Alright, so there is just one electrical plug on the power steering pump just at the front there. There is just a little bracket at the back there that holds that wiring in place, so I've just left that bolt there. There is, well, I've loosened off the coolant overflow bottle. There is three bolts that I can access from the front of the power steering pump through those holes in the pulley. There's a third one, or the third one at the bottom is quite a long bolt, goes all the way through. The top three are just short. I've also just removed this bracket from the hard power steering line, so I should be able to move this up and out of the way. At least that's the plan. Just using the screwdriver just to lever that out of the way. Should be able to get hopefully enough room I may need to loosen that air conditioner bracket off just to get it to slide past that line. Oh, no, that's all right. I can flick that in through there. That's all right. And that should give me enough room to get my hand or something into the back of that starter motor. So that's the access we got to deal with, and we should be able to see the starter bolts back there. That dipstick tube's going to be in the way a little bit, but it is what it is. We'll manage. Here's a problem. So I can't really get my hand much further through here. Now there is a little cap on the end of the cabling, which I may be able to access a lot better from this side, which would mean the throttle body needs to come out. Shouldn't be too much of a drama. There's just a couple of hoses on there. Looks like 4 bolts on either side, the wiring plug, and that should come out of the way. And that'll give us a little bit access to this side. So I'll give that a go and see what happens. So getting that throttle body out of the way has definitely helped. So you got a couple of, well, that bracket there is held with those 2 bolts, and 2 of the 4 bolts in the throttle body. There is just another bolt just on the side here that will release it. We've got one coolant hose to the throttle body from the top here, which I disconnected. I've left the bottom one on, and the throttle body is just down the bottom there. There's a couple of, I guess, vacuum lines just here that I've pulled off. They're just sitting out to the side there, so I can get my hand in there and I can access that rubber boot on the starter. So, yeah, so maybe not necessary to pull that power steering pump out just yet, but we'll continue on and see if it's actually required. If not, I'll maybe just scrub it from the history of this video. Alright, so the little spade connector that's on that starter is a bit of a pain. There is a little, it's similar to this one that's on the power steering pump, in that it's got a basically a little press release button on the side of it. Now, in order to get it out, I can't physically squeeze it with my hands just at that angle. So what I've done is get my hand in from this side, put a bit of pressure up on it, get a long enough screwdriver, and obviously you have a light down there so you can see what you're doing. There's a little gap here, you can just see what you're doing. Throw that screwdriver in there, maneuver around, push the button, and just keep some pressure on it, and she'll pop right off. So that's how I did that. In order to get the main power cable off the starter as well, I used basically a long extension with a wobble on the end, and I end up coming in from that power steering end to unbolt that. So you could probably get a spanner in from this side if you wanted to persist. I reckon that'd be possible. So yeah, power steering pump could possibly stay in place. Alright, so with all that cabling undone, we've just got this bolt here and this bolt here to undo for the starter. Now from underneath, now I have removed all the under tray from under here. So this little bracket here, I'll try and point to it without getting my hand in the way. This little bracket here, we may have to take that out. I don't know. I'm going to undo the starter and see if we can maneuver it out. Like I said, we just got these 2 bolts we need to remove, and that whole starter should be able to come out. First bolt, and of course this bolt is wanting to be tight all the way to the last thread probably. Oh, come on. I think half the problem with this is with the top bolt out, the starter motor is just sort of dropping down under gravity, and it's just enough to bind that bolt up, just enough so you can't undo it by hand.
3 days later.
There we go, 2 bolts out. We'll go underneath and see if we can slide that starter out. Alright, she slides out through the bottom, nice and easy. I'll bring you in for a close look, but you can see this bearing in the end of the starter is completely shot. So I've got a bit of a close-up here of the two, obviously new one and the old one. I don't know how well it'll show up, but well, actually there you go. You should be able to see that movement there. That bearing is shot. This one, yeah, that's all good. And also, like I said earlier, I noticed that crack that was starting to form. So one of the original videos I actually seen for this starter where I knew it could come out the bottom is this bearing had let go, and this whole nose of the starter had basically cracked and fallen off. So yeah, we've got it at a good time. We'll throw this newie in and we'll get back on the road. Now just throwing this starter in from the bottom, same way it come out. It takes a little bit of jiggling to get it through the right. Like it's not much of a slot it can fit through, so you're just going to have to trial and muck about, try the best you can. Now I just got to remember how I got it out in the first place and try and slot it up the same way. I think it's all about holding your tongue the right way. No, I don't have the trick. Anyway, I'll try and get this in. Kind of doing it totally blind, but that's the way it is sometimes. It's nose of the starter up in first, and obviously when you're pulling it out, the back of the starter comes out first. So reverse that the way you do it, and there you go, that's sitting up in place there now. All right, bolt that starter in. Okay, so the starter's back in place. Sorry, it's a bit hard to get a camera in to film. It's just one of those tight little areas. It's kind of impossible. Nose of the starter basically needs to go up first. When you're removing it, the back end of the starter comes out first, so it's just a reversal of the way it come all out. So yeah, it's just a matter of wiggling it around. It does go in there. It's not impossible, and it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes, to be honest. But yeah, we're going to bolt all this starter back up, start putting everything back together. As always, just a reversal of the way you pull things apart. So it's one of those things, if you're kind of unsure of where certain lines go and whatnot, or you think you're going to forget, then it doesn't hurt to label this stuff. But yeah, when you're just doing it in a short period of time, that's you don't really forget it. Now the hardest thing may be getting some of these wires back on the back of the starter, mainly just due to the location, and probably just getting that nut on the back of the thread. We'll see how we go. I'll just get the starter all bolted up first and then worry about that later. Right, so hardest thing is getting that cable back on and bolted on. It's not much room to work with. The spade plug, pretty easy. So now we'll just get that throttle body back in and power steering pump back in, and we're good to go. So I've got the throttle body all bolted in, all the hoses, coolant hoses all back in place, so that's all ready to go. All we've got left to do over this side, rehook up the battery, intake hose and the cold air intake. But for now, I'm just going to go get this power steering pump back in place. So I've just got two short bolts lined up first before I do this long one. I was going to try and do this long one first, but I was just having a bit of trouble getting it lined up properly, so it's kind of easier to get this top outside one in first, mainly because you can just see the angle a bit better. And once those top two are in, that bottom one should line up quite nicely. Once those are both in finger tight, I just tighten them up with a ratchet. Don't forget as well the little bracket for the high pressure power steering line. It's just up on the side of the block, probably an easy one to forget if you weren't paying attention. And I'll get this overflow bottle back in place once I've done this belt, just because it gives me a bit of extra room to manoeuvre. Belt's back on, no problems there. Obviously, normal case with belts, just make sure they're all on properly. Now, because we had a coolant line disconnected, you may have to top up your coolant system a little bit. I have lost a little bit, but it's not that much, so we'll just top it up a little bit, make sure it's all nice and full. So I'm going to throw this, take this battery terminal back up now before I whack all this pipe work back on because it's a lot easier to access right now. So battery done. I've just got the intake pipe here and the cold air intake, and also also the under trays. So they're pretty easy to get on and off. So yeah, we'll get those on and it's job done. Right, all in all, this is should be a pretty easy morning job if you've got all the parts ready to go. It's not terribly difficult, and yeah, probably the hardest thing is just if you've got smaller hands than me, you'll probably find it quite easy, especially getting those. You know what? Before we go too far, let's try and start it and see if it starts okay. Oh yeah. Nice and quiet, no noise during starting as well, so awesome. Oh, we'll just bolt all this stuff back up. And we've got that cold air intake to do, and we are done. Oh, and the under tray as well. Alrighty, so I'm going to finish up bolting all this stuff in place. That's pretty much it, really. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, as always, subscribe. And you know, to the members of the channel, Dave, Byron, and Jay, thanks very much, guys. I will have something in the works for you guys if you like maintaining history of your vehicles. I'm sort of developing a bit of a web app to record all that, and it'll just be for you guys. It'll basically have free access. That's the plan anyway. So I'd love for you guys to trial it out and see what you think of it. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.